Hello, welcome to the Daily Loot video. Again, this one was pre-recorded, so it's just a quick narration over the top, same as yesterday's one. So going into the Scouter players list, sorting by position, and that first keeper, too old. Good, but too old for us. And we did just buy one yesterday and the previous day, so right, this guy is pretty good or whatnot, but just not quite where he needs to be for us to want to pick him up. Don't use left back, so pretty much instantly just flick through these guys. Nothing much there. It's even close to tempting for us. Moving on to the DCs. He's a bit slow. He's decent otherwise, but we got better already. This guy just not where he needs to be at that age. This guy's pretty good, but he's a bit old for us. His wage is a bit high, purchase price a bit high, and this guy's just not quite where he needs to be. And we do have two DCs selected. In the end, we decided to not get him, but we probably would have got him if it was next season and we knew we needed one for our youth team. He's not far off where he needs to be. We do check the boosts or whatever, but I know in the end we do conclude to not get him just on the basis that we have two players in our academy trial that are central defenders, as well as the fact that we know that we've got a player in our youth team that is 19 at the moment, a DC, that'll be around for next season and the season after, so it's just not a priority position. Going back and checking this guy again, and yeah, we do conclude he's just not quite. Again, DCs in particular at this point, like they've got to be really good to tempt us because we've got quite a bit of depth there. We prioritised it early to pick up good ones. This guy is another one, super tempting. We probably would just get him if we needed him, but we don't. We do check that if he had any training cycle left, just in case it was like, there was one left and I had like +4 tackling or something like that. So yeah. Anyway, we're just double checking because there are a few here that are quite good, and if we didn't already have a bunch of DCs we were happy with, we probably easily would have bought one of these guys. There was quite a few different ones that were tempting for different reasons, but I think in the end we don't get any of them. We're still, this guy's not that tempting, but the other one, quite a few of the other ones were. I think moving on, we don't use right back, tackling too low. The DMCs. This guy's pretty tempting. I think we end up not getting him just because the vision isn't quite there, and he's a little bit slow. He's too weak in the air, but those things could be okay if the vision was higher, but he is deficient in the vision that we want for the deep line playmaker, so I think in the end we don't get him, but he's not far off, to be honest, where he needs to be. It really is just the case that it could be this exact guy, but if the vision was like 70 something, we would just get him. I know we mulled him over quite a bit because he's very close to what we want in a deep line playmaker. And I think the control being 9 is a big issue as well. When he's a playmaker role and we're wanting the team to prioritise passing the ball to them, the control becomes way more important than average because they'll get the ball a lot more. So we're even checking his ceiling rating or whatever versus other players of a similar age, trying to sort of assess a little bit what his future growth, like how much he could improve. But yeah, in the end, I think we move on here. The passing and vision not high enough. We're just tracking our guy back here. Still thinking it over. It was super close, to be honest. I think just that's the main thing, just that vision wasn't quite there, and then his other deficiencies mattered more because he needs to be able to make up for that to tempt us because he doesn't have sort of the perfect attributes. Right wing back we don't use. I think that guy was just too old. That MR, DM, MR. These guys just not where they not quite where they need to be. Too low tackling on him, for example. Just the passing and vision isn't quite where we need it to be at a player that age, who I think already had have their 2 seasons of training boost. This guy again, just with 3 seasons of training boost applied, just not quite where he needs to be. Too expensive, not where he needs to be with 4 seasons of training boost applied. Again, just not good enough, basically. And then these next 2 guys at 25, they would need to be sort of ticking all the boxes for what we need to sort of tempt us. And I think, I think this guy does have the 7. He sort of does have what we need to some degree. In the end, we don't get him, but he's just not quite where he needs to be. That's the thing for that age. But he's not far off. And he sort of does. If he was in our starting squad, we keep him for ages. Let's put it that way. Like with the low wages from the starting squad wages and whatnot, we would keep him for ages. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, just again, he's just not. 2 more seasons after the other guy. The other guy, I think, if we were going to get one of the 2, we'd get the top one, who's 23. And same again. He's just not good enough. And then basically we'll get into the older players that are just too. I think we're just mulling that card. These older players are just not. They're just too old and too high wages for us, pretty much. And we're not going to go into that sort of 900, 6, 7, 8, 900k wage range unless it's like a key position for us, like the AMC. MR just not quite there. Just behind where he needs to be. That age. This guy, just again, he's just not good enough compared to what we've got. We don't use AML, AMR. None of these guys are going to be good enough to want to be tempted enough to buy someone who doesn't play. Who would have to give another position to. He's one that you could just be tempted to buy if you played a right winger and in minimum wage and whatnot. That 16-year-old guy that we just looked at before. But yeah, but it's not us because we don't run them. I think this guy, he's just too expensive behind where we would need him to be. Not good enough. And yeah, it's not good. Just a combination of not good enough, too high wages, too old, whatever. Just put it all together, not quite there. Just not good enough. Not enough where he needs to be, basically. Neither this guy. He could kind of be decent if it was the start of the season and you needed a striker for your under-21 squad. You could definitely develop one up better, but the thing is, like this guy who just be, he could just bang you a goal a game pretty much, but he won't, he'll be 22 next season, so we won't be able to play in our youth squad next season, and it's near the end of the season, so yeah, it's exactly the type of guy that you could just buy to take your youth team to the next level, that 21-year-old, if it was the start of the season. This guy pretty good or whatever, but we just can't afford 6.1 million, basically. But yeah, so we didn't think about it, whether we would get him or not if he was cheaper, because he's just miles out of our reach. These other guys just not quite good enough. Quite a few. This guy sort of is decent, but we've just got better at present. So we've got some decent strikers already and centre halves. So they're the 2 positions in particular for us that are just super hard to improve on at this point. It's just about, it may not happen. We may get one player in either of those roles for the next X weeks type of thing. So really hard for us to upgrade on those positions. Go to the training. There are no. Oh yeah, there is. There's one training option for the keeper that we bought yesterday. I think we just pick the A option here. Just that shot stopping is too big a deal to not take. And to the academy trialists. This guy gets his crossing revealed for the centre half. Doesn't really matter. He already had that passing the other day. Powering 30 and 35. We're still waiting for that guy to get his shot stopping. The previous one, that the El Alami, to get his shot stopping revealed. This guy's composure comes out at 42. Right, this keeper just not as good as the other ones. Don't use left wing back. Passing and vision too low. Don't use right winger. Don't use left winger. 27 tackling. This guy's got decent finishing composure, but otherwise just dribbling really low. Movement really low. Speed is okay. Strength is okay. He could kind of maybe be a target man, but he'd only ever be an okay one at that. So I think we're just going to not get that guy. So we're looking at this guy and we're thinking he's really nice, really well rounded, high passing, tackling, long shots. The composure and finishing could end up good. The dribbling could be good. Got really good control. There's a lot to like about this guy. His work rate's decent. If the speed comes out at least around 40, maybe even high 30s, we're looking at this guy thinking that's all he needs, 30 something speed, and then the other stuff could be good. He could be really good for us, that MC. So straight away we think, yeah, he's definitely basically coming in for somebody, so we just need to work out who. Left winger, these guys just weren't good enough and whatever. This guy is 9 speed and don't know the tackling yet. 34 tackling, don't use right back. This striker, just it's 20 speed and a lot of stuff you don't know and is otherwise low and key and whatever, so just pass on that striker, I think. We mull it over a bit, just sort of thinking, if the finishing's high and the composure's high, whatever, is he good enough? But the answer, I think, is still no. This guy, we got better DCs at the moment than those guys, so we just pass over quickly, and this guy just not good enough. So I think in the end we conclude that we want that MC to come in. Now we're just going to work out who. Look, if we want to get rid of one of those 3 keepers or one of those 2 centre-halves. And I think we kind of conclude we just want all of them. So in the end, despite them being absolutely nothing wrong with that right back, and he could be an awesome right back, but the thing is we don't use a right back. So in the end, I think we just move that right back out, even though he is probably better to keep than that MC if you were using a right back, but yeah, we're not. So we move him out for that MC, and we speculate on the MC, hoping that these remaining attributes will be good enough. And we don't need them to be much, by the way. We're talking about, high 30s on average for the remaining attributes. The key ones, at least, just in the 30s, high 30s, whatever, will be okay. So it's not high speculation. It's these other ones where you're saying, with this keeper, for example, waiting to see if it comes out towards 60, which is quite unlikely but possible. But in the case of that MC, it's very plausible that the sort of, these key stuff that's left would come out of the high 30s, 40s type of, range. So in the end, we just move out that right back, and I'm pretty sure that's what we do, and we put in the MC. So pretty much now just fully committing to not using fullbacks, I suppose, even though we were pretty much there already. So we put him in, and we go back, and just see the dribbling, the vision. So the vision could be like high 40s or even high 30s. The speed could be high 30s, 40s, whatever. The finishing. So this stuff could just, as long as it all comes out at least around 30 or higher, it's all good. So cheers. Thanks for watching.